The college football experience, Louisville Cardinals 2024 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog's giving away $15 million in Best Ball Mania 5. They just announced college football best ball, which I'm just doing backflips over here. Sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your first time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. That's underdogfantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm has the best AI picks and projections, and their football models are almost live. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. Once again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Welcome to the college football experience, Louisville Cardinals 2024 season preview episode. Excited to talk Cardinal football as always. Obviously, last season they treated me really good. I was on the over, and I had them to win the ACC Championship, which I was laughed at for a few different shows. But that's why you tune in. All right, we're breaking down 134 college football teams with the solo podcast for each and every team in the land. If you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swing at Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Yes. Quarterback you, they might say. Look, I know I'm on to it with Jeff Brohm, former quarterback, and Brian Brohm. But do I need to mention Lamar Jackson, Brandon Nagel, Johnny U, Dave Ragone? Don't forget Dave fucking Ragone here. Malik Cunningham. I mean, they always got good quarterbacks. Last year it was Jack Plummer, but he is gone. But I still think there's reason to be optimistic about this Louisville Cardinal team, and you might find old Pick Dundee, a.k.a. Cap Bozo, on them again. I am joined by my co-host. He is the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, which you should be subscribed to. This guy, known as also Scumbagger Vance, the Bet Detective. And what is the name today?
Today, you're talking to the one and only Bug Dafone, as in Bug Dafone, the great Louisville Cardinal, Doug Buffone, of course. I am the Bet Detective, so I Bug Dafone.
Oh, I like it. Give it up for CJ Sullivan, a.k.a. Bug Dafone,
yes.
a.k.a. I feel like we could do something with Howard Schnellenberger here.
Yes, Schnellenberger.
Coward. How about Coward Schnellenberger?
I don't know about a coward. I don't know about that. But all right. I don't even like disgracing the Schellenberger name with a coward in there.
That's true. That is true. I mean? Any coach that had a fucking pipe in their mouth while a game is on is a legend. Who's the first coach to bring that back? If you had to set odds right now in college football, because I don't think Jeff Brohm would be I love Jeff Brohm, but I think if we're going to see the pipe, maybe Mike Gundy.
Yeah, well, he would have a corn pipe, that fucking cornball son of a bitch. I could see Kirk Ferenz or someone, bringing some kind of good old fashioned just pipe tobacco. He doesn't give a shit. Lighting it up as they're asking about his 9 points a game that gets a win. Did you hear what he said? Ferenz goes, the only stat that matters is wins per game. Like that's an advanced stat.
Hey, and I agree with them. When
I know.
One of my favorite answers he did was they asked what game was his favorite. He was like, "We won at Penn State 6-4." And then, why is it your favorite? Because the score. Everyone hated it, but we won against a ranked team in State College. Buddy, the Louisville Cardinals, they got their guy. All right, Jeff Brohm's dad coached in Louisville forever. Him and his brother, who's the OC, played at Louisville. It's just. This was a home run a year ago. That's why I was all over the win total and all over them to win the ACC championship. They got there, but they didn't get it done. This could be the year. What's your opinion of year one with Jeff Brohm and moving forward?
Well, I mean, obviously, huge success, as you called it. You're all over them last year, as I recall. They're ahead of schedule, to be honest with you. They shouldn't have been that good last year. You know, they were not supposed to be, at least. And you could even tell, I mean, obviously, a new coach, new regime, but he's got that offense. I think the offense is going to look even better this year. Not better, but look more like what Jeff Brohm is used to, his system, pushing it downfield and is all over the place. And
getting the tight end involved is huge.
Tight end involved. And of course, we'll see we'll get to their quarterback, who might be older than Lamar Jackson. You did a list of all those Louisville quarterbacks. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And one of the things I would say also is, like, he's coaching back-to-back. He was in the Big Ten championship game 2 years ago at Purdue.
Yep.
And to me, what I think is that if you had to power rank ACC coaches, I think you can make the argument. I know Dabo Swinney would be up there, but other than that, I think you could really say Jeff Brohm is he's his track record speaks for itself. He took Purdue to the Big Ten championship. He took Louisville in 1 year to the ACC championship. So I would put him ahead of Norvell and Cristobal and certainly a Cristobal. And then even Mac Brown, who I know won a natty, but I don't think he's as good as a coach as Jeff Brohm. So
yeah, it depends on how you rate it. If a coach that I would want right now, then yeah, Brohm would be number one. I mean, not number one. I mean, yeah, obviously Dabo. You can't knock Dabo.
Yeah, I would say Dabo 1, Brohm 2, but like I feel pretty good about that statement there as far as ACC coaches. Yeah.
I will say one team is on the rise up and one team refuses to get a transfer portal.
Yeah, to get a transfer. Look, folks, we're going to talk more about Jeff Brohm here in a second, but I want to tell you, you are listening to the College Football Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and the Sports Gambling Podcast just launched their 32-team NFL preview. And as a bonus, each team preview will conclude a code word. Submit the 32 code word phrase, and you could be the lucky winner who gets a $500 NFL Circa future bet. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, or and the SGPN app, which is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. So grab that thing today and let it ride. All right, back talking Louisville football. Obviously, Brohm 76-48 in 10 years as a head coach. 10-4 at Louisville last season in year one. He went 30-10 at Western Kentucky. So in the state of Kentucky, the guy is 40-14. When he's home, he just kicks ass. But let's shit on Louisville for a second. Look, going through the past 23 college football seasons
just
since the turn of the century.
Just peering that rearview mirror on our horse chair here in Louisville. Let's go through all the terrible losses and coaches.
Well, the one jumps out right from the start. How dare them welcome in the East Carolina Pirates, and we just get it done 28-25. But, one thing that stood out to me in doing this exercise is
I can't imagine a smile on your face as you do this exercise for every single team in the country.
Well, the smile on my face is the UConn Huskies, who have
they always pop
4
up
wins against Louisville.
I know.
What?
Well, I mean, it's becoming a habit. I say once you have UConn at home as a loss, that's your worst loss on the last couple decades. But now I'm starting to realize maybe UConn's good. They keep popping up with everyone's bad losses.
They got Notre Dame one time. Holy shit! I mean,
this is a page 2 shot right here.
Yeah, Florida International got on there, the old airport. So I mean, multiple. It's got to be UConn or Florida International, correct?
Go back to page 1 there.
What do you think of that old logo, by the way? That old logo needs to come back, right?
Yeah, the old logo. He looks a little upset with this list right here too. That old logo. He's like, all right, enough of this. How many times you gonna fucking put UConn and South Florida on this list before you realize they're a good team?
They stopped scheduling them, and all of a sudden, now I know some of those were Big East games, but some of them weren't. They stopped scheduling them, and then things have gone good. Lost to Colorado State. I mean, what's the worst one there? It's got to be one of these UConn ones, right?
When it stands out, I mean, are these chronological? How are these orders even?
Yeah, chronological.
Go to that second page again. No, it's Florida International at home. No doubt. FIU at home. I'm surrendering to UConn. UConn can play now. I mean, Jesus.
Give them that national championship from 2020 that they won, says the New York Times.
Yes, they did.
My wife's alarm's going off here. Look, let's talk about the offense from a season ago. 43rd in the nation. Jeff Brohm walking right in, said, "I'll give you a top 50 offense in year one. Watch me." Ooh. All right. Mm-hmm. And the Papa John's, or whatever they're calling that stadium now, after Papa John's got all racist, right? And they showed up in Kentucky gear. That was one of the best stories. You know what? The state of Kentucky is kind of amazing when you think about it. You had the Papa John story where he was, he was saying racial slurs and also complaining about
N-word on a conference call.
Oh yeah, that and but before that there was red flags when he complained about tax cuts when he had a house with 43 bedrooms and a moat. But then he shows up in Kentucky gear to the basketball game, which was hilarious. But also you remember that old folks home where like a Kentucky fan and a Louisville fan in like their mid 80s or early 90s got into a brawl at
Canes and whatnot.
Just fucking fantastic. Just fantastic stories coming out of the state of Kentucky. And let alone the Rick Pitino prostitution ring we had going. But top 50 offense a year ago, top 50 in scoring, top 50 in yards. Believe it or not, 56 in passing. You would think Brohm would pass the ball more than run the ball, but they were a top 40 offense and running the ball 37th. All of these stats were top 5 in the ACC in year one. Which one stands out to you the most?
Well, I would say the passing yards was looking pretty good, and that's with the quarterback. And like I said, they were not limited, but they weren't to full capabilities. You know, first year of transition is still pretty impressive. They stepped right in and did great. So they're all pretty balanced offense. What you expect from Jeff Brohm?
Yeah, for sure. They only bring back 3 starters, and I'm being generous with 3 starters because Chris Bell only started a couple games, but
I like him though. Big physical receiver.
I think he's gonna have a monster year, man. If you're, I think all these wideouts, I think, are gonna have a really big year because they got better at the quarterback spot, in my opinion. But they brought in some great guys in the portal. Just Bell back at the wide receiver spot, and then 2 offensive linemen, Renato Brown and Michael Gonzalez. Kicker Brock Travelstead's back as well.
He was shaky, but apparently he kicked a 56-yarder in the spring game. So
that's how you win him over.
That's right.
At the shack, just knocking on a 56-yarder. They went out and brought in a slew of talent. Tyler Shough. And now here's the thing. He's fucking Mr. Glass over here and unbreakable here. I actually think he's extremely talented.
What's this, his 7th year?
7th year. Well, he gets injured. I mean, you got to watch it there in Kentucky, because you walk in some bar, start talking some shit, you're a quarterback, you will get punched in your face, and that will be a season-ending injury for Tyler Shough. He's actually, I think, a huge upgrade if he stays healthy.
Right. I know some people really like him, and he could have a big year if he is healthy. He will be able to throw the ball downfield more, which is what Brohm wants as well. Like, he'll be able to run Brahm's offense the way Brohm wants it ran. But like you said, if he stays healthy, but also he's disappointed sometimes too. So I don't know.
And if it's not him, it'll be Pierce Clarkson. And they still have Harrison Bailey, who's been in college for 50 years too, at the quarterback spot. The running back spot was interesting because Penny Boone, who transferred in from Toledo, stayed for like a week.
Yeah.
And then went to UCF. So I'm not going to count that as a loss because he never actually played for them. But the running back spot, I think it's going to be Maurice Turner, but they also brought in Donald Chaney Jr. from the Miami Hurricanes. Why does that sound like a politician?
Donald Chaney Jr. for sure. Yeah, he definitely shot his cousin or something. But I like Chaney Jr. He's got a nice combination of speed and size. Before they were all speed in the backfield, he could kind of like shoulder the load a little more, 15, 20 carries if need be, And
they got Isaac Brown too. They got a little bit of depth at the running back spot,
and he'll help in pass blocking too, which is actually more important in this offense.
Well, to me, when I get excited about this year's offense, it's the wideout room. Like I said, we touched on Chris Bell, but bringing in Caullin Lacy was a baller at South Alabama. Mm-hmm. And then you bring in Ja'Cory Brooks from Alabama. I know he didn't have the greatest season last year, but the year before he was pretty good. And Antonio Meeks, another wideout from Tuskegee, go deep sea diving on some talent there. Mark Redmon is a tight end from San Diego State. If I shout out to LFG in the chat, that's another one that I think could be a real difference maker. They also brought in Jaleel Skinner from the Miami Hurricanes and Isaiah Cummings from Kentucky, which is all right. I what are you doing here? Transferring from Kentucky to Louisville. It's just got to have rules in our society. And that one is just disgusting to me. But how about this Jonathan Mendoza kid coming in from Yale? This sumbitch is 6'9", 314 pounds. Woo!
That's the Mendoza line right there. Jesus.
They got Kevin Duckworth as an offensive tackle right here.
Wow. That's incredible. Duckworth. Yeah, I got Mark Eaton out there for crying out loud.
I mean, I don't. That's 6'9". Holy shit. They also bring in Monroe Mills from Texas Tech, who comes over with Shough. Rashid Miller from Georgia Southern. Victor Chicken Cutler from Ohio State on the offensive line. And also Pete Nigra from Northern Illinois. Dude, they brought in a slew of talent on the offensive line, but I was already feeling all right about the offensive line. I mean, I kind of think the O-line is pretty good.
Yeah, the O-line's solid. They were solid last year. They brought in some speed receivers like those Alabama boys there, Brooks and Lacy. One from South Alabama, of course. They'll be great. And the tight end room, like you said, he likes to use the tight ends. They're very experienced. I like Kurtzley there. And is that Chris Redmond's kid? That Redmond? Or
I didn't think about that. That could be Chris Redmond's kid. Remember him? Mm-hmm. Old Atlanta Falcon / look, quarterback you. Quarterback you there.
Another Louisville quarterback.
Yeah.
How does LFG have to tell us about that? I also have the name Jamari Johnson written down.
Dude, this offense is going to be really good, I think. Like, I think this offense is better than a year ago, providing Shough stays healthy.
Right.
And I think that not only will they be more physical, I think the passing game will be much, much better. I look at this as like a top 20 passing game, providing Shough stays healthy.
I know. Shough is a real wild card.
Yeah, I mean he's athletic too, but you just gotta have him. I'm sure, I think Brohm could really help him in a way because sometimes he'll run around and do crazy shit. I don't know. I'm kind of bullish on this offense here.
Okay, well, I think they should grow for sure. But Shough, I mean, it all comes down to Shough, really. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Before I get to the defensive side of the ball, I want to tell you the Louisville Cardinals 2024 season preview episodes brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. They just launched Underdog Streaks. Hit your first 2 pick'em entries and then go streaking. If you can get on an 11-0 run, you can win 1,000 times the amount of money you entered. Plus, Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. They just got Best Ball College Football, folks. So you're going to hear some stuff on this very platform regarding that. I'd never heard of college football best ball until here. You can now use specials and boosts too on all flexed entries. So sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. They got college football. They got college basketball. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by OddsJam. OddsJam is your one-stop shop for beating the sports books. OddsJam uses millions of data points across every U.S. and Canadian sports book to show you the best value plays for your money. Their line shopping tool shows you the best price for any bet you want to make across countless sports books, not just the big ones, DK and FanDuel. They're going to show you all of those. Bovada, Cut, Bet Online, and many, many more. Their arbitrage tool will find opportunities where you can bet both sides of the same prop on different sports books, so you can guarantee a positive ROI. If you're interested in trying out OddsJam, hop on over to oddsjam.com. Use that promo code SGPN. Don't forget to drop that promo code in there, because not only is it going to get you that, it's going to get you 35% off your first month. Get on over there, oddsjam.com, promo code SGPN. All right, back. And now it is time to talk about Ron English's defense. Former Eastern Michigan Eagle head coach. I believe he was with them at Purdue, and at one point I think he was at Michigan. It's a defense that I think surprised people last year. 33rd in scoring per game last season, giving up just 21.3 points per game. That was 5th best in the ACC. 21st in yards, top 25 defense in yards, top 5 in the ACC as it came in at number 4. 57th in pass defense, 9th in rush defense. This is a top 10 rush defense a season ago. Remarkable coaching in year 1, in my opinion. They bring 7 starters back, including 2 on the D line, 2 in the linebacking core, and 3 in the secondary. Yes. As well as punter Brady Hodges, but, on the D line, Ashton Gillette, this dude's a stud. He's back. Desmond Tell is back. TJ Quinn and Benjamin Perry back in the linebacker spots. And then, both safeties. MJ Griffin was a starter 2 years ago. He was out for the year last year, as well as Devin Neal and Quincy Riley. Buddy, I'm buying in. I mean, why should we why should those numbers be like just the schedule could be tougher than a season ago, which I think it is.
What's your question now?
Why this defense bringing back 7 on a defense that was pretty damn good a season ago,
right?
Build me a case of how they're not better. You know what I mean?
The defense not being better. Well, they're going to have a great. Saying they brought some people in the portals. They're a little shallow on the D line. I agree with feature. Ashton Gillette is a beast, and he probably will be an All-American. Played multiple spots. You can put him up and down the line. They're also their linebackers are maybe a little weak there. I guess I'd say so. But thank you, sir. The Boss coffee service. Sorry, I got interrupted there. I don't know how it works over there in Venice, Colby, but here I had the CEO delivering Starbucks. Anyway, point is, no, I agree. The defense should be just as good, if not better. Ron English said this is his best cornerback room he's had in a real long time, in a couple decades, if not ever. So,
yeah, and they did lose some guys in the portal though.
Yeah.
Tyler Barron heading out to the Miami Hurricanes, who are on the schedule. You filth. Now Jermaine Lowell's the big one, going to the Texas Longhorns.
Terrible.
And then Jeffrey Clark also heading out to the Arizona State. Western Michigan, the Broncos coming in and saying, we want some of these guys. Old Popeye Williams, great name. And Rodney McGraw. Lost linebacker Jackson Hamilton, who did follow Scott Satterfield to Cincinnati this year. Jalen Alderman also to the Miami Hurricanes. They did lose some pieces to, decent schools there. But they've really stepped up their NIL collective. They brought in some talent too. Miles Jernigan is a guy I like from Cal that comes in on the D line. They also brought in Renee Conga from Rutgers, Thor Griffith from Holy Cross. Let me tell you something.
Yes, the Woo Rats, Purple Crusaders.
Dude, if you watched Holy Cross football last year or the year before, they were a super physical team. Like they to me, they suffered like skill position players. They didn't have but along the line of scrimmage, I was really impressed with what what's his name did. Bob Chesney did on the line of scrimmage. Yeah.
You tell me about this Crusaders. I go back to them since Duffner was the goddamn coach over there.
Since Gil Fenerty,
yes, sir, absolutely.
Yeah. Look, I linebacking wise, they brought in Davis from Texas A&M and Foster from Texas State. Secondary, they brought in a shit ton of talent too, man. Yes. McCullough from Oklahoma was a guy that was sought after a couple years ago. Tayon Holloway from North Carolina, Corey Thornton from UCF's penciled in the start. Nicholson, for the Illini, it was a hit for them, and he's going to be in nickel packages, I think. But
those are the two guys that stand out to me: Nicholson and Thornton, Illinois and UCF. I think they both start. I think they're both huge additions. They're very deep into secondary.
Yeah. Dude, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what they've done. Before we get to the win total and schedule, I want to tell you the Louisville Cardinals Go Cards previews brought to you by Rhythm. If you're not checking out the AI picks and props from Rhythm, you are missing out. They just predicted a bunch of winners for the British Open there, and their football models are about to drop. You can even customize your own betting models easily by using Rhythm's tools. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Yeah, Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Imagine the regret you'll have if you enter your little office pool with a few hundred people in there and you win that thing. And then you realize, holy shit, all my picks would have been right no matter the league I was in. And why didn't I enter Circa Survivor? Because I would be a millionaire today if you had done that. Don't have a trip booked yet for Vegas before football season? You got to check out the Ultimate Contest Weekend. It's a great time to go out. You can hang with our pals, Stacking the Money Green and Ryan Real Money Kramer from the Sports Gambling Podcast, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd to August 24th. Use the promo code also if you're going to be if you want to stay at Circa, use that promo code SGP15 to save 15% off your hotel room for sign up weekend. We even have and not only that, you're going to need to sign up at Circa Sports between now and September 7th to enter, but you can play from anywhere. We even have a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50 with the promo code SGP. So get on over there. And as always, folks, let it ride. Back talking card football, and I don't know, man. I'm kind of bullish on the team. I feel like this year's roster is better than last year's roster, but the schedule's harder.
Well, the schedule's harder, but the silver lining is to it. The conference schedule is easier, I think. So I think. So like the overall schedule, yes, but then the conference schedule, I think there's a much better, easier path to get to the conference championship game again.
Yeah. Look, let's get to it because the win total set at 8.5 wins. First off, they did bring in. We forgot to mention they brought in a Vinatieri at a kicker spot.
Brought in a Vinatieri.
Old AJ Vinatieri from Ball State coming in.
For sure. I see LFG bringing up Milt Wagner Sr. too as a great little. Now we're going to the basketball world. who I love Milt Wagner, of course, dad of Dewan Wagner, dad of Dewani Wagner from Camden, New Jersey.
I was a Purvis Ellison guy in college.
Yeah, that's right. I loved when Rick Pitino, or not Pitino, Calipari, hired Milt Wagner as an assistant coach, and they're like, "Did you do that to get Dewan Wagner?" He goes, "No, he's he played professional basketball. He deserved a job." He goes, I gave Arthur Barclay I gave his best friend Arthur Barclay a scholarship to get Dewan Wagner. That's why I got Dewan Wagner. He gave his friend who he lived with a scholarship just to get Dewan Wagner. He's like, no, his dad deserves a job. His friend did not.
Well, I don't get brain bag.
Look, the win total sitting at 8.5. This is the over is at plus 115, the under at 135. Vegas saying 8-4. I can't help but do a little giggle here. Look, plus 650 to win the ACC championship. To make the 12-team playoff is plus 450. How many teams did we going to get out of the ACC? At most 2. So to me, just play the plus 650 if you're going to do this. They're plus 15,000 there to win the Natty. That old logo fire as well. The schedule. The schedule's nice, man. I'm bullish on this one. Week 1, they are home to the Governors, Austin Peay, who are breaking in a brand new head coach. That will be a dub. You see eye to eye here?
I see eye to eye there. Austin win, and then probably another one coming up, and then I mean, not to fast forward here and then a bye. What a weird. Some of these bye weeks are just so oddly placed.
Early bye week's horrible here. But the home game against Jacksonville State is a little tricky. Don't underestimate Rich Rodriguez.
I'll take the points.
I'll take the points too, but I think that the Cards will get that dub. 2-0 heading into the bye week. And then you're hosting the Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech. I got you 3-0 heading into South Bend under the Golden Dome, the only good dome in America.
I will say that Georgia Tech game won't be a blowout either.
True.
I think that's going to be a tighter game than
if this was in Atlanta. I just feel like
Louisville should get the win, especially off the bye. But
then they head into South Bend. I got them losing this because they did whoop Notre Dame's ass last year. I think that Notre Dame hasn't circled this year.
Yeah.
So I got them 3-1 out the gate, but that does not count against a conference loss there. All right.
I'm with you. Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's a non-conference, and we'll get into the overall schedule, which is huge. Notre Dame and then the rivalry game, Kentucky's a non-conference. I mean,
yeah,
they
are home to the SMU Mustangs. It is a nice spot after a bruising. Like Notre Dame normally will beat you down on the line of scrimmage, but I'm not as bullish as most are on SMU. I feel like a lot of people like that SMU play. I think Louisville's going to fuck them up there.
Some people really like SMU. It all depends. And I mean, I like Preston Stone a little bit, but I don't see them. I don't know. I don't see them winning in Louisville, to be honest with you. I like Louisville here.
Me neither. And then they had the Scott Stadium. Now I will say this. They were sleeping last year in Virginia, almost ruined their whole season. That was in Louisville too.
Right.
However, I'm just not bullish on UVA, but I will say this. There's another trap spot. I think they get through UVA. But what are you doing here?
This is a tough little sandwich spot. So look ahead to Miami playing SMU after the Notre Dame game. I can see this. This is upset alert for sure.
I got them beating Miami the next week.
Yeah,
I think Miami will come in like top 25 for some look, and they beat Miami, but I'm terrified of this next one because if you beat a top 25 Miami team, you're talking shit. The alcohol is just tasting better. And then you go to boring ass Chestnut Hill where by the way, BC has won 3 straight, I believe, against Louisville. Why do I feel like they're going to lose that game?
And especially with Clemson arising.
I know that's what I'm saying. It's a horrible spot.
Yeah. I tell you what, I want to give an upset. It's either SMU, it's either Virginia, or it's Boston College. They're losing one of those games. I'm with you. I think I like the Boston College as a loss.
I'm terrified of that game after the Miami game. The only thing I'm hoping Miami loses early, so they're not a ranked team then. But I kind of expect Miami. They get this treatment every year. I'm still taking them to beat BC, dude. I'm terrified of that game, but I'm taking them to beat BC. I don't know about the Bill O'Brien hire. They do lose at Clemson though the following week.
That's a loss. No doubt about that. That's a loss for sure.
Then they get a bye week and they are at Stanford. This is a weird one. Luckily they get the bye week to travel the 3,500 miles to Stanford or whatever it is.
They could use that bye right after the BC game or before it. Well, either way,
Yeah.
Split that up.
Then you're home to Pitt. Pitt did ruin their season last year.
Although I will say it does break up 3 road games in a row. It's at BC, it's at Clemson, then it's at Stanford. Not easy. So you do need a bye. You need a bye week in between there.
Buddy, they should be favored. So, I got them beating.
They're beating Stanford and they're beating Pitt.
I agree. And then they're at Kentucky, the Governor's Cup. I do think they're going to win this. They're going to get revenge on Kentucky. I think.
It's been 4 years now for this.
They should have won last year, man. They were they were better than Kentucky last year. They gave them that game.
They're a better roster. They're a better team, but Kentucky's owned them the last 5 years or so. I mean, this has been ridiculous. And I don't see why this changes again. I think Kentucky wins again.
I'll say this: between Kentucky and Boston College, they drop another one.
Well, Kentucky's a much more obvious one. I mean, I think it's Boston College, Virginia, or SMU.
I think they should be. And Anthony Easton saying Clemson is not an automatic loss. Brohm, I agree that Clemson is way more vulnerable than, and I do think Brohm.
Oh yeah, it'll be a great game and it'll be tight. But
I'm on the over though. I feel pretty damn good about 9-3, 10-2.
I do not. I got them losing to Kentucky. I have them losing to Clemson. Notre Dame is 3 losses, and then one of those, like I said, between SMU, Virginia, Miami, BC, you're losing one of those. That's 4 games, 4 losses at least. So 8-4, 8.5. Yeah, I don't have
8.5. You got them 8-4. Well, I'll tell you this: even though I have them on the over, the smarter play is the ACC Championship.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's say they lose to Notre Dame and Kentucky. And
who cares?
Yeah, who cares about those games in a way? Because the playoff, you win the ACC, you're in. This is why the ACC is going to be like I made this case here. They don't play Florida State, right?
If you just hold court, lose to Kentucky, lose to Notre Dame, who cares? Lose to Clemson, and you beat Miami at home, hold court. That's 1 conference loss. You're in the championship game with 1 conference loss. You're in there. You can get in there with 2 losses if you lose them both.
I agree. No, I think 2 losses is in 2, depending who your losses are, and because they haven't released the tiebreaker yet. But I think 1 loss. And get this. Here's what I think's crazy, man. I think there's a decent shot that Clemson and Florida State are the best 2 teams, but they don't actually play in the ACC Championship because they have harder schedules than Louisville, NC State, and North Carolina. So. And Virginia Tech. So to me, I think there's a decent shot. You're looking at like Virginia Tech, Louisville, in Charlotte for the ACC Championship. I think you jump back to, even though I do like the over, because and by the way, the over, if you're a Louisville fan, you're getting plus 115. So that's. But why not just take the plus 650 to win the ACC Championship? I'm probably going to load up on both, but. Dude, as long as Shough stays healthy, I feel like that's how this blows up. Is if Shough struggles and gets injured or something, or he comes back from the injury and he's, not 100%. That's how I this is a great schedule, man. They should be favored in 9 of these 12 games.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Shough getting injured, of course, would blow it up. And if Shough is just mediocre, which he obviously can be as well too.
There's a chance they're favored in 10 of these, because if Kentucky, now that there's no SEC East, if Kentucky struggles, there's a chance Louisville could end up being a short favorite in Lexington.
Yeah, there's a chance for that. I don't see it, but if there's, I mean, I think Kentucky's owned them last game. It's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. Of course, it's gonna be revenge, but yeah,
but dude.
Really, things line up for them, especially. I love the plus 650 conference champions because I believe they're getting to that game.
Yeah, I do too.
Then you're sitting on a great price of a ticket to get out of it, if whatever you want to do.
They're in my ACC championship, and I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that with these fucking tiebreaker things, but I feel like they're going to be in there. What's the ceiling for this team to me before we get to the floor? The ceiling is to me, they have 3 games to me that 4 losable games. I shouldn't say losable. It's Louisville. You could lose any of these games, but I feel like with Brohm there, it comes down to Notre Dame, Miami, Clemson, Kentucky, right? Those 4 stand out more than the others. And
sure.
I think the ceiling is 10-2, maybe even 11-1 if they can get, like Notre Dame's thrown at a lemon before, they beat Notre Dame last year, but I'm saying like Notre Dame's lost at home to Marshall. They've lost to Stanford at home under Marcus Freeman. So it's if Louisville comes there and just gets them, the only one, I feel like the best case scenario would be 11-1. You lose at Clemson, but you get Notre Dame, or maybe vice versa. Maybe you get Clemson and you lose to Notre Dame.
Yeah, well, Notre Dame is not going to load. They're not going to overlook them like they're Marshall or something coming in. They, like you said, they have them circled. They lost to them last year.
They got their ass whooped. That was like the only game Notre Dame got their ass whooped last season.
Yeah. So can they beat them? Of course they can beat them. Louisville can beat anyone on the schedule. They can also lose to a lot of it. So I'd say 10-2 is my ceiling for these guys.
What about the floor?
The floor, I'm a little lower than you are, to be honest with you. I think they can lose. Let's say they can lose Notre Dame, SMU, Miami, Virginia, Clemson.
They're not going to lose all of those.
They can. Let's say. I mean, you just said it. You just wrote the path. What if Tyler needs an 8th-year quarterback, and because
that's true,
because Mr. Glass.
But Brom's such a good quarter. Like, when's the last time he didn't have a quarterback perform well? True. Even at Purdue, like, I feel like if it was Aiden O'Connell, then it was Plummer there at Purdue, or whoever. Who was the guy before Aiden O'Connell?
I tell you why their floor is probably better than what I'm giving them credit for, is because their defense will keep them in it, and their secondary and their coverage will make enough plays that even if they do have bad games, their defense will make enough plays to steal a couple wins. Wins like against like dud games like Virginia and Boston College, where you don't have your best effort out there. Their defense will be able to grind those out.
The floor is 7-5 to me.
No, I'm definitely 6-6 easily.
I just think it's a good. I mean, for them to go 6-6, they got to lose to what, like 3 games to shitty teams, right? Or like, I don't know how good Pitt will be. There's a chance Pitt might have Narduzzi fired by that game.
I'm not even saying Pitt. I'm saying right. If they lose the Big Four,
maybe 6-6. Like Jackson State, if Rich Rod catches them, and Rich Rod. Like what Jackson? I'm trying to build a case of like they get upset by Rich Rod or Georgia Tech, one of those. Notre Dame 2, SMU 3, Miami 4, Boston College 5, Clemson 6, and then you can even say 5 and 7. But I just feel like Brom's too good of a coach for that, dude. He's too good of a coach. He doesn't do that. You know what I mean? At Purdue, when they had all these academic restrictions and they suspend their best receiver for the fucking season, like I just feel like he's too good of a coach. I think the floor maybe 6-6. I say 7-5.
No, he is for sure. 6-6 is my floor. I don't expect it to happen because of Brohm, and his offense is going to be even better now with Louisville, with these guys doing things he could not do in Purdue. So it should be exciting.
Yeah, I'm all over this. Give me that over all day. And you're on the under, but the 650.
Yeah.
Why would you play the 450 to make the playoff? Why?
It's insane, right? Yeah, they're not coming in second to making the playoffs. Or they're not coming.
Watch them go 11-1, like I said, and then they lose the ACC championship and that hit.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, look. Not only if they win that, I guess
is that your only threat of that happening, of them going like undefeated, then losing the ACC championship game?
If they went 11-1 with their one loss being at Clemson, like I said, or at Notre Dame, they would get in with a loss in the ACC championship then, because they'd put. Let's say they lose to Florida State. It depends who would be the team in the championship, but if it was Florida State, they might get in there. It'd be hard to say, hey, you're 11-2. With your 2 losses being, to top 15 teams and none of those being, or both those being somewhat either neutral or on the road, I think they might get in then. But I don't know. It depends what all the other teams do too. So I still think you jump on that plus 650. I think there's a decent shot they're playing like Virginia Tech or NC State or North Carolina, or like I said, I really think they fucked up with these gigantic conferences and having these rules based on 2017 college football when they concocted this 12-team playoff. Yeah, I don't know though. I do like the over. How like you seem pretty sure about the under or no?
9 wins is tough for me to get to be honest with you. I think 8's just 8.5. 8's a solid number there. I mean, I have them at 8-4.
Yeah,
I'm not betting the under. I'm not betting the over. Like I said, I will take this ACC championship at plus 650 though for sure.
I think they're definitely going to play in that game unless Shough gets injured. If Shough gets injured, maybe that shit. Maybe they're just like 6-6, 7-5. But I'm all over that. I like this roster. I think this team's actually better than last year's team. The schedule's a tiny bit harder, I think, this year's schedule than last year's. But I still think there's a great path to get to the ACC championship and potentially Brom's first 2 years. Wow. Wouldn't that be remarkable? Folks, I'm on the over. He's on the under. Sprinkle that plus 650. Make sure you give the Bet Detective a follow on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _ and check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. What are you guys talking about right now?
Well, of course, we did a little Olympic loving today. I love the silliness of the Olympic. One announcer got sent home after he said the women were late to the podium because they were busy putting on their makeup, and some of the athletes didn't like that. You know, a little sexism. But what's and then I got a nice battle because of the opening ceremonies. I don't know if you saw that pagan Satanism thing that France put on there at the opening ceremonies, and that got me into a good debate. Who would be a better Olympian, Jesus or the devil? And different. Jesus, of course, would dominate the swimming events. He could just walk right on the water there. But any kind of ball competition, Satan, I think, has to have an advantage.
Yeah, Satan minus 200.
Absolutely. He's got money on it.
Check out the Bottom Line Bombs for more on Satan and Jesus.
Leave it at that. For more on Satan.
He's on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _ as well. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Folks, we're breaking down 134 teams. I recommend watching it. The old logos, the graphics that old Cap Bozo's building here.
Cap Bozo.
So youtube.com/the college experience. Also, you're going to want to check out the college basketball experience. We've already done our coaching grades. Pat Kelsey coming into to Louisville, after the disaster that was going on there with Kenny Payne. I think it's going to be a great year for Louisville hoops, and we got you covered there. Also, check out the college baseball experience. Louisville baseball is good as well. But look, all of those are under the umbrella of our YouTube channel, youtube.com/the college experience. Also, check out the Stadium Heads podcast. We talk about Louisville Cardinal Stadium there. Not the retro run and the new one that used to be called Papa John Stadium. That's called some crazy shit now, but. Anyway, we do a deep dive on that, the history of Louisville football and really the history of all of college football and their stadiums. So check it all out over there, Stadium Heads podcast. Check out the Sports Gambling podcast as well with their NFL breakdown. I know the NFL is doing this silly Cockanimi kickoff, which is setting the league back about 500 years, but it's still going to be fun. All right, so check it out. You still bet on it. It's fun, money happening. Till next time, folks, this is the College Football Experience, Louisville Cardinal edition. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot.